Woke up early in the morning, scrolling on my phone. Open up TikTok, see my man Rico knows. He's talking college football, all the spreads and all the trends. Say you wanna win money, listen to me, man. I tell my lady, go make me a bagel. I gotta listen to what Rico gotta say, though. He got the numbers and he got the picks, so I gotta listen to my man Rico. I'm just scrolling on my phone, seeing what Rico knows, seeing what he know about the UFC and college football, the prop picks, all the spread picks, the plus money underdogs, all the best picks. Gotta listen to my man Rico, he's a wizard. I told my girl Rico, say listen to the lizard. And we cash it out, all the props. We cash it out, all the props. Listening to Rico, I'm just scrolling on my phone, seeing what he knows, seeing what Rico knows, seeing what Rico knows. I'm just scrolling on my phone, scrolling on my phone, scrolling on my phone. I'm just scrolling on my phone, seeing what Rico knows, seeing what he know about the UFC and college football, the prop picks, all the spread picks, the plus money underdogs, all the best picks.
Hey, yo, what up, MVPs? I'm here to talk to you guys about the results from UFC Abu Dhabi Fight Night. Shout out to all these cats. What a terrible night, bro. What a terrible fight card. Shout out to the UFC. At one point during this fight card, underdogs won 9 of the last 11 fights. If you go back to the last fight card, right, 318, UFC 318, and this card, underdogs won 9 of the last 11. That's absurd. In the UFC, that's almost impossible. It's crazy, and I'm not going to focus on it too much because at some point I'm going to sign off the live show here on TikTok and only talk to you MVPs on Discord. But first, I want to sit down and talk about the actual fight card, not the picks, right? None of that stuff. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's talk about the fighters themselves. In the first fight of the night, Martin Buday versus Marcus Buchecha. If you aren't aware, Martin Buday has now won more fights than like anybody since 2022. He's won like 7 or 8 fights since 2022. That's an absurd number of fights. And I told you his promoter is Don King, and they keep giving him these easy fights, and he got another easy fight. Now, this is absurd, and I'm tired of it. I'm tired of doing my research, finding these bums in other fight leagues who look amazing on tape. When I watch them on YouTube. I watch their highlights, and they look like world-class fighters. And then I read all their accolades, and they're amazing. And there's a reason they're not in the UFC. And there's a reason they're not UFC veterans. When I talked to you MVPs about this, I said stay away from a early prelim UFC debut. Some of you guys have these rules like this. And then I go and make it a lock. And it's the third time this has happened to me, right? Third time? Fucking, I'm so embarrassed. It was patchy cement mix. Now it was Marcus Buchecha. And I know we had another one where we just thought, yeah, he's going to come in here, be world-class, and he's just a world-class dirtbag. And what it comes down to is Martin Buday has some jiu-jitsu to him. He has some judo to him. He's hard to take down. And being a 300-pound man who cuts to 265, you guys see that dude with his shirt off? It's crazy. You know, a couple of months ago, about 6 months ago, I went to the VA. I went in for my doctor's appointment, and I weighed 260 pounds. You don't want to see my shirt off, bro, because I'm chiseled. These dudes ain't it. These guys look gross. But that's because the man was walking around 320 and fighting at 265, and you can't deal with him. So you can show up with your six-pack over there, Buchecha. Six-pack. You can show up with it. It ain't going to help you when a 300-pound man is weighing on you, laying on you. I promise you, Martin Buday is in that cage at 290 fighting on fight day. He's 290. He's rehydrated. He's impossible to deal with. And don't believe this hype of the 5-minute control time. Buchecha fell into some control time, but when it really mattered, this idiot gave up the mount or rear mount to go for a Kimura from the mount. We say position before submission. That's what we say in jiu-jitsu. As a coach, when I'm teaching people, position before submission. Do not give up your position to go for a submission. You're in the mount. You're going to win the fight. Don't step off to the side and try and sit out a straight arm bar. Or go for a Kimura. Oh, Rico, it was an Americana. All you fucking jiu-jitsu nerds out there trying to justify this is absurd. Marcus Buchecha is a jiu-jitsu nerd with all the muscles to show for it, and it pisses me off. It's aggravating. And personally, I need to do better. I need to be better. because I need to go out there and believe in the UFC acumen, if you will, or the UFC pedigree. It's like, this is the SEC, bro. This is the SEC. You can't bring in no transfer and he's going to start over one of your guys. So, lesson learned the hard way, face first. And it sucks because it ruined every parlay. It ruined everything on the card. I'm going to get into that later. Don't want to get into it right now. Next fight. I screamed and yelled, and I gave you guys an example. Let me make this very clear. When I told you Stephen Nguyen is a minus, I think it was a minus 350 favorite, and I said, yo, I would go and put a full unit and back this man to make $100, is what I said. Do you know what that means to you? To all you heavy guys out there, you guys who go hard on stuff? That means this is the one spot. This is the one spot shot. This is one-stop shop. They got it wrong. Stephen Nguyen should be a minus 500 favorite, a minus 800 favorite. They got it wrong. And the amount of enthusiasm and emphasis I put on this, I can't do anymore, bro. The man went out there. Now, let's make sure we do a couple things. Muhammad Yahya is not a fighter. He is not a fighter. He should never been a fighter. He's not UFC caliber. This is what it looks like when you put a regular civilian in the UFC. You want to know what it would look like if somebody in your office were to try to tackle an NFL running back? This is what it would look like. You ever heard those guys? Oh, I would do Oklahoma drills with Derrick Henry. No, you wouldn't. No, you wouldn't. Oh, I can complete a pass in the NFL. No, you can't. I promise you, there's 3,000-yard passes in college that can't complete a pass in the NFL. There's state championship high school quarterbacks that can't complete a pass in college. And we get to the UFC, and there's a dude from the UAE. Bro, break out a map. Point out the UAE on a map right now. No labels, a blank globe. Point out the UAE. And I promise you, you're pointing at Yemen. And I promise you, you're pointing at Saudi Arabia. You're like, it's right here, somewhere in the Persian Gulf. Bum ass shit. Dude, this guy's not a real fighter. Nobody from his country's a fighter. These dudes wear white robes and sell oil. They got no reason to fight. And the only thing that I learned about this is maybe Stephen Nguyen doesn't punch that hard. Now, they told me the MRIs were negative. The CT scan was negative. He has no fractures in his face. If you saw the eyeball, it's insane. Absolutely insane. I thought it was Alien versus Predator. That was Alien, right? Alien growing out of the Predator. You'll see him later. McGee getting beat up by Peter Yan. But Stephen Nguyen knocking this man down 6 times in a round. Shame on you, Herzog. But more importantly, Stephen Nguyen, do you hit hard enough to just put a dude out? I don't think so. Because he should have. This man should have been out from the word go. And never there again. Insane. Easiest fight to call of all time. Oh my God. Ibo Aslan versus Billy Alcana. This is what happens when you second guess yourself. I don't know if you guys have ever done this in life. Like, have you guys ever, you've been talking to a girl, you're trying to get her to stay with you, you want her to be with you, and then she just starts pointing out everything that's wrong with you? Let's say you were dating a chick for like 2 years. I used to watch this on TV shows all the time. I would watch like Ricky Lake or Jenny Jones, Montel Williams, Jerry Springer. And then out of nowhere, one of the girls would be like, well, I don't even want to be with him. He's just got a little dick. He'd be doing all this stuff. And homie's just sitting there second guessing his whole life. And I'm like, really? You going to believe this about him? Dude, you ain't believing her. She was with you for 4 years. Did you just suddenly start packing? Like 4 years, and now you want to talk about it? Now you're saying he couldn't satisfy you? So that dude, he goes out and changes everything about himself. He loses all his self-confidence. Loses everything about himself. I used to have a buddy like this. We go to the nightclub. We'd ask a girl to dance, and she'd be like, no, I don't want to dance. And I just looked at him and was like, bro, you just got to keep getting reps in. You got to learn how to approach them, when to approach them. You got to know what song they like. If they're dancing in their seat, that might be the one. You got to make sure you do this. You got to read all the tells, all the signs. And he's like, nah, These girls ain't it, bro. Let's go to the strip club. Because at least at the strip club, nobody turns him down. I got a friend, he can't go to a regular club. He can't be in a regular nightclub. He's like, man, these girls ain't even trying to lap dance on me. He can't be in a regular spot. He gave up. He went and changed up his whole strat because of one strikeout, because of one miss. Ibo Aslan gave up and changed his entire strategy because of one loss. Let me explain. This man is 14 wins in MMA, and he has a chance to go out there and win a fight against a guy. Billy Alcana has never, he's never won in the UFC. He's not real. And instead of going in there and imposing your will and showing us your 14 knockout power, you redid your whole strat because you lost your last fight by submission. Because Ian Cutelaba submitted you. You don't strike anymore. You went to Dagestan to train for this fight. You went to Russia to fill the holes in your game plan. And then what'd you do? You came out gun shy. You refused to ask a girl to dance. Now you just go out there and you just don't dance. Now you just sit by the wall and hope somebody notices you. That's never been the move. It's never been the move, buddy. Fucking Ibo Aslan goes out here. This is a knockout artist. And in 15 minutes, he lands 29 strikes. That's 2 punches every minute, bro. 3-year-olds can do that. Embarrassing. I don't know what round he won. One judge had it 29-28. What round did this guy win? He rewrote, look, man, when you lose all your confidence and you no longer do what you do best, that's absurd to me. That's crazy. Do what got you here. Ibo Aslan didn't do what got us here, and Vegas loves him. You got to fade him. And I'm pretty sure the next time we see him in the cage, he's going to go and do exactly what got him here. And I'm never going to get his fights right, but I don't care. I don't trust that dude. He's not a real scrapper. He's not willing to get in the phone booth. You saw Peter Yan. You saw a championship caliber fighter get in the phone booth, go like this, and then just start making it rain. Ibo Aslan could never. Ibo Aslan's fake as fuck. Rose from Turkey. Turkey. They're getting sucker punched by Syria right now. Ain't doing nothing about it. Ibo Aslan, fake as a $3 bill. And Billy Alcana, not a good fighter. Not a good fighter at all. He landed 35 strikes in 15 minutes. Not any better. It's another miss. Amanda Hebos, Tabitha Ricci. First and foremost, shout out to Tabitha Ricci. She does have the greatest weigh-ins. She looks beautiful. She's always wearing small panties, always got a six-pack, always just a beautifully built woman. All right, just a beautifully built woman. That's cool. But when it comes to fighting acumen and ability, Amanda Hebos is in another stratosphere from this girl, and it did not happen like that. Amanda Hebos is much bigger, much more skilled, or I would say more accomplished, more accolades. And none of that matters when you catch an elbow to the eye. So let's talk about the first round. Tabitha Ricci closing the distance, knowing she can't fight at range, just getting up against the cage, a clinch against the cage, and then just peppering with small strikes. Eventually, she catches her with an elbow to the face and then does a second one to the eye, and she wins by follow-up TKO. But what you need to know is the judges had the scorecard. They had Tabitha Ricci winning the first round. And Amanda Hebos had better throws, better control in the clinch. She even got a jiu-jitsu throw. A judo throw. Amanda Hebos, a much more skilled fighter. Didn't get it right at all. Another miss. And this is just underdog after underdog after underdog winning. But it's just Tabitha Ricci, shout out to Baby Shark. The control time they're making reference to here, that's why you can't read box scores and believe all this shit. The control time they're making reference to is just lean up against the cage. And it paid dividends for her. She had a game plan. Close the distance with the bigger fighter and just wear on her and do what I can. And that's exactly what she did. I think the less skilled fighter won. And that's pretty good. That's awesome news for us because she's going to get a better fighter. And Vegas might like her because of these wins. But I don't. Congratulations. Shout out to my dog, Davey Grant. So before the fight, I talked to you guys about this. I said, hey, this is just not one we can even, you don't put money on it. You watch this joint. You watch this joint and you enjoy it. I understand a lot of people love Davey Grant. He's a dog. There's nothing negative to say about Davey Grant. I like him a lot. And then at the same time, Blackshere looks like a better athlete. And I also said I don't believe in any submission. I think there's more likelihood for the distance just because I've watched Blackshere be in dominant body positions and not finish the fight. He doesn't get it done. He's in position. He looks good. He's crisp. He's doing everything fundamentally right, but he doesn't finish the fight. And that's exactly what happened. He didn't finish it, but more importantly, once they got up off the mat, Davy Grant's got that old man strength, that old man dog in him, and I'm so proud of him. I said, I'll be cheering him on. You got to watch the videos. All you people out there who just, I got the card, I tailed it, I lost all my money. Bro, get the fuck out. Watch the videos. Watch the videos. We talk about the analysis. The analysis of the fighters is on. I can't fight for them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do anything for Blackshere. I can't help him get a takedown. He's 1 for 5 on takedowns. He had some control time. He's good. Man, that old man, Davy Grant, is a beast, bro. But I'll pick every fight. You don't have to bet him. You can just watch him and enjoy him. For three fights, I told you guys Carlos Leal is not it. For 3 fights, I watched the pre-fight videos or the post-fight videos. I talked about Carlos Leal not being it. I learned nothing about the fact that he beat up Alex Morano. I've watched him in the cage very short amount of time. This is a former steroid user. I don't like him. I keep saying this over and over and over. And then finally, we get here to this matchup, and I totally I would say to myself, Carlos Leal is winning this fight. Muslim Salakov just won his last fight with a spinning heel kick, spinning heel kick, like a roundhouse kick, and then he's still a 350 underdog? I said, well, it makes sense. He's going to get pressured up against the cage. He won't be able to throw his kicks, and he didn't. He threw his punch, and he won with 3 strikes landed. This is the UFC. When people tell you, oh, Rico, you just hit 3 locks, but they were all minus 400, 300, 200, 500, like, this is the UFC, bro. Locks will miss. This will never happen in football. A minus 500 in football can be scored on. They might get, you might go out there and score the first touchdown, and then you'll lose 49-7 when it's a minus 500 in football. In the UFC, if you score the first touchdown, you win the game. And that's exactly what happened. That's the difference between UFC and football. Muslim Salakov is still not an amazing fighter, but man, does he hit hard. And when he lands, he lands. And there's holes to Carlos Leal's game, and he's a cheater, and I gotta never, ever believe in that motherfucker. I hate him. Vegas loves him. It sucks, man. That's life. Missed 2 locks on the card. That was the second lock on the card. 2 in the prelims, and then we hit 2 locks. Next fight, Bryce Mitchell, Said Nurmagomedov. If you watch my pre-fight video on this, I was on Bryce Mitchell. Flipped to Said. That's a clue to not even think about this fight. Can't even think about it. Now, let's see what we saw. Bryce Mitchell went down in weight class. Bryce Mitchell had 9 minutes of control time. He still doesn't know when to strike. He's in dominant body control. He's on top. Doesn't know when to input damage. His elbows are there. His hands are free. He's not doing any of it. So fundamentally, I have an issue with the way Bryce Mitchell fights. Heart-wise, he's got all the heart in the world. He's trying, bro. He's closing the distance. He's in shape. He gives the worst interviews. I don't know what his deal is. Send him back to Arkansas or wherever the fuck he's from. Like, I don't like Bryce Mitchell as a person. But dude's a gamer. Like, dude's real. Dude just got the ever-living shit beat out of him last fight against Gene Silva. And he had the nerve to get on the mic and say, this has been my hardest fight of my career. It's not hard to get beat up, apparently, but it's hard to win. That's weird. Said Nurmagomedov for the second fight in a row. Poor fight IQ. You're in position to win the fight. You can win it. You just stay behind. When I say behind, he had rear mount. He had a rear control of his opponent. All he had to do was stay back, stay in control, almost get like riding time, if you will, if you're a wrestler. And these are supposed to be Dagestani wrestlers. Now, I understand Said Nurmagomedov, of all the Dagestani wrestlers, he's the striker of the group. He's one of the strikers of the group. I don't care. Just poor decision making. Like, he's one of the ignorant dudes in his village. He might have a lot more Neanderthal blood than most people. I'm sure of it. If we check his DNA, he might come back like 5% Neanderthal, because there's just some things he doesn't do right that Homo sapiens wouldn't do. Doesn't make sense. You're a professional fighter and you're making rookie mistakes everywhere. So I don't get down with that. Said Nurmagomedov. Not likable. ABC is what I said at the start of this video when I made it. When I made the video, I said ABC and started going into it. And then I decided, no, Magomedov should have the striking advantage. I don't imagine Bryce can grapple with, and there you go, Bryce grapple with him. ABC, y'all. Always bet cardio. And Said Nurmagomedov has no cardio. He dies by the 3rd round. He can't finish a 3-round fight. So he starts making stupid decisions when he's deprived of oxygen. Next fight, man, did it feel good to get it right. And shout out to the MVPs who stuck it out, right? You're in a bad run. You're in a bad run. Law of average is going to take over, and we're going to get some shit right. So this one right here was, I put an RK. Let me show you guys. On the fight card, I put an RK by it. And RK stands for Rico Knows. And I told you guys in the video, I can't make it a lock because it's an underdog. But I know that he's going to win. I know Bogdan's winning this fight, is what I told you guys. If you watch the videos. And I put RK, that's my initials. Rico Knows. I know it. Look, I put RK over here. We missed that one. We've been getting most of them right. If you look at the cards, no matter how bad things go, we're putting Rico Knows next to stuff to let you know there's just a tremendous amount of value here. And I have a really good read on the fighters. And for this particular fight, I let you guys know that Nikita Krylov used to be a world-class fighter. He used to be one of the top 5 fighters in the world at his weight class. He really did. And then he took a 2-year break, came back in his last fight, and he looked nothing like he used to. And I told you guys, I think the odds were like minus 200, somewhere around there. And I said, I've just never seen this guy. Maybe it was minus 265 earlier in the week. I said, I've never seen this guy look that way. Like, I've never seen him look that good to where I believe him to be a favorite in this fight. I don't. And I won't back him. And then we got Bogdan, Kuskov. He's a gamer, man. He's young. He hits hard. He's going out there to bang. And he's in the prime of his life, and I really believe in him. So I told you he'd win, and he did. And a couple things I talk about strategically in this fight. You know, I was calling it out while I was watching it. I don't like that Bogdan is starting his combos with a cross because it's the hand that's furthest away from your opponent. So it takes a really long time for it to land first. So you go cross, hook, cross. It's usually jab, cross, hook if you weren't aware. So the cross bothers me. But when you start with it and it lands, it's game over. And that's exactly what happened here. He got a good read. He started with it, and it was game over, and he won the fight. Nikita Krylov should have probably taken off the gloves and retire, but I'd imagine they keep giving him main event fights on the main card. He's getting a significant amount of money to get beat up, and he's going to keep doing it. We're going to keep fading him. And if Vegas keeps liking him because of his skill set, that's fine. But this guy's not the fighter he used to be. So we'll see who he fights next. But shout out to us. Bogdan hit, and we feel good about it. Man, did it feel good to finally get up off the mat. Next fight. Jose Ochoa, Auabayv. Yes, the scores were 30-27, 30-27, and 29-28. The fight was much closer than the scorecards. There's no moral victories in UFC. Got it. I called this a coin flip fight, and I think I was right. Obviously, Jose Ochoa outstruck Auabayv 2-1. It's 118 significant strikes for Jose Ochoa, Auabayv at 55. Some of the things that Auabayv did correctly are he fought like a veteran. He understood his path to victory, and he did not deviate from it. He's a grappler. I don't think he's the world's greatest grappler. He shot 16 takedowns. He's in this type of shape to shoot 16 takedowns, and he needs to because they're not all going to land. You can defend against them. But if he lands one, he's going to get control time. This man had over 9 minutes control time. He is a bona fide crotch sniffer. Bona fide. He might suck your toes while he's down there. This guy's unreal. And it started looking like he was a step ahead of Jose Ochoa. Now, Jose Ochoa, I think he displayed not poor fight IQ, but poor decision-making in the cage. Really, maybe just being too green, not experienced enough. He fought like a rookie. And what that means is, you're fighting a wrestler, you don't throw those knees. Because then they're going to catch one, and you're not going to get back up for another 2 minutes. You'll be exhausted by the time you get up. And now you just got to take the knees and the kicks out of your repertoire. You can just go out there, touch leather, keep your legs back, ready to sprawl. And then when you saw Jose Ochoa, he actually has some jiu-jitsu to him. He looked good. He's training in Brazil. He's doing some jiu-jitsu. But off your back, doing triangles and arm bars and all this stuff, that happens at lower level fighting. That happens in jiu-jitsu competitions, not in the UFC. It doesn't happen that often. Off your back arm bars, not a real thing. No, not on the main card. Early prelim, Dana White Contender Series, maybe. On a main card, nah. So Jose Ochoa, still a really good fighter, still a young kid that I believe in and all that, but it sucks because Vegas likes him and he's going to be expensive every time we see him. But he could scrap. It's just you ran into a crotch sniffer. And the Auabayv, I don't think he's an elite fighter. I think he called out Joshua Van after this fight. Guys, we will take Joshua Van 1,000,000 times. Joshua Van can piece this guy up. Joshua Van should be fighting for belts, not fighting this dude. I'm serious. So, Auabayv just trying to get back in that title picture. This dude was ranked 9th. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. Next fight, Shara Magomedov is now 16-1 against Marc-Andre Barrios. You guys know the deal. Shara won every single round. Cool. He got his nose broken. And he really, really pieced up Marc-Andre Barrios. He really pieced him up. He does some good things well. So let's talk about the positives with Shara. Shara is a great striker. He moves well. He is athletic. His kicks are nice and crisp. I think he frames very well, meaning in the clinch, he can do some cross faces and things. And he defends against the takedown tremendously. He's vicious in the clinch. He's a dirty boxer. He throws elbows. He does everything that you expect a striker to do. I like his ability to scrap. No way in hell he should be a -700 favorite. We're going to the judges' scorecards way too often to be a -700 favorite. No way. That's silly. Okay, another thing I'll say is when you're -700, you shouldn't be running into adversity. You shouldn't have your nose looking like somebody's ass, right? It just, the curve on his nose was outrageous. Your nose shouldn't look like a question mark at -700. You should be walking right through people, and he's not walking right through people at all. Marc-Andre Barrios gave him everything he could handle. Yes, Andre Barrios got beat up really bad. He's slow, not quite as fast. But where we go with Shara Magomedov, we already saw him lose before to MVP, so he can't go that far up the rankings. He's not even ranked, right? I don't think he's top 15. And if he is, he's on the outskirts. He can only fight people outside of the country. I was looking to see who in the top 10 he could fight, and it would be Adesanya. Everybody else has a scheduled opponent. Like Roman Dolidze would smash this guy. Smash him in a back alley. And no condom. Like, that's crazy, right? So I don't believe in him. I just don't. It is what it is. I think we just leave him alone. MVPs, I really do. There's no point in backing him. There's no value in backing him. So you just leave him alone. You don't even do it. Just leave it. It's a fallacy. And then we have Peter Yan versus Marcus McGee. I got this right. Called it a complete lock. I understand Marcus McGee had only lost once and never lost in the UFC going into this fight. I told you it's a lock. I don't care. And that's because I believe that there are levels to this game. I've watched too many fighters to not believe there's levels to this game. And this is Memphis playing Alabama. Like, you could be really good in the group of five. You could be really good at, like, Memphis, score a bunch of points, be a program I believe in, Boise State, all them guys. Not really Boise State. This is Memphis. This is Memphis right here. And then you go and you fight Alabama, a two-time world champ, a guy who only fights 5-round fights against only the champions. And Peter Yan, if you want to go out there and strike with Peter Yan, well, bring a lunch, and he's going to take the lunch from you. You're not going to need your lunch. You're not going to be around to eat your lunch. And when he's done with you, you won't be able to chew your food for a week. Peter Yan's a dog, bro. They talked about he's downloading data, and then he goes out there and does. I don't care about none of that. All he needs to do is get in there, fill your strikes, and once he realizes you don't have what it takes, he gets a lot closer than you anticipated. And then he starts letting it rain. Let me tell you some things I learned about Peter Yan in this fight. Peter Yan has the composure of a champion. Even when he gets struck, he doesn't show the theatrics. Like when you watch McGee getting hit, I called him the Predator. He had all these dreads. Shit's flying everywhere, or braids. I'm not sure which one they were. I think they were dreads. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. Don't misquote me. But I think they're braids. So he had all this hair flying on every strike, flailing. And every time they would engage, if you want to escape from the gate, that's fine. You want to circle, move away. The posture looks way different from a guy like McGee versus Peter Yan. Peter Yan just stays in the pocket, just stays with his hands up, shoulders rolled, chin down, and just looks the part every single time. He doesn't flail. He doesn't look flustered. He doesn't look fatigued. And optics are everything, right? Perception is reality. And if those judges are watching you, after a while, they're like, man, that guy's impenetrable. Like, that guy looks good. And Marcus McGee, nah, he's not built for these championship caliber fighters. I'm sure he can beat a lot of guys on the early card. I'm sure he can beat a lot of guys on the early card like he has been. But going from, who did he go from? Jonathan Martinez to a champion? Nah. You bit off way more than you can chew. And this was one of the easiest calls of the night. Felt really good about it. Peter Yan. There you go. Congratulations. Shout out to Marcus McGee. Still an athletic dude. Still, good fighter. Just not this caliber fighter. There's levels to this. And then the main event. Shout out to Lucky Luciano. He's on the Discord server watching the fights with me, and he gets so nervous. As soon as the fight started, that man puts stacks on things, right? So, nonetheless, Reinier de Ridder, Robert Whittaker. I knew what I was getting into. I knew what I was predicting. I told you guys Reinier de Ridder's winning this fight for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's bigger, and he's going to be weighing on little Robert. And whenever I see Robert lose, Bobby Knuckles, he's a great fighter. Whenever I see him lose, it's because he's fighting a bigger guy who just kind of weighs on him, and it's an atrophy thing, right? It's a battle of attrition. Excuse me, not atrophy, but attrition. We just need to somehow see who's going to be more tired. And, oh, my God. Do you see the total strikes here? It says 169 to 69. You guys, 169 total strikes for Reinier de Ridder. They were a bunch of little rabbit punches in the clinch and all this stuff. Doesn't matter. When the fight started, the combos are so crisp from Robert Whittaker. He's a great boxer. He can move, great footwork, jab, cross, everything's mean, hooks, everything. Robert Whittaker's him. Reinier de Ridder is not a good striker. Reinier de Ridder is the worst striker. He's a phenomenal grappler. And even in this fight, Reinier de Ridder could not go and grapple the way he wanted to. He couldn't get the sub. He couldn't get the finish. And he still found a way to win. That's crazy, right? That's crazy that he found a way to win. Now, it was a split decision, but the control time of 9 minutes versus only 30 seconds for Robert Whittaker, there's a huge gap in ability among all these fighters trying to fight Reinier de Ridder. And it's his ability to grapple, and it scares the hell out of them. They don't want to be grappling with him. He grabs them. They're in the clinch, and he's a huge guy. And eventually those jabs hurt. Those crosses hurt. He can't punch that. I swear I heard him screaming every time he was getting hit. Like, he was getting hit, and he was moaning like it was a Saturday night. It sounded crazy, bro. And I'm just thinking, that's not a vicious man, but it is. His knees to the body are real. Because he's 6'4", he can always land these knees to your solar plexus. I don't even know. Solar plex. Where is your solar plex? It doesn't catch any sun over here. I think solar. I hear solar. I think the sun. Anyways, he catches these things to the diaphragm. Where's your diaphragm? In your belly, your tummy, your stomach. Wherever he wants to throw these knees, they're vicious, bro. Vicious. Everything else is sloppy, looks terrible. But, man, he's hard to deal with and as big as he is. Shout out to the MVPs who believed in me, tailed it. Robert Whittaker's still a good fighter. He really is. He reminds me of Jared Cannonier. He reminds me of some of these guys who won't ever be champions, but they're just good fighters, man, and they're dependable. They're going to go out there and be measured and do exactly what you expect of them. Reinier de Ridder, they don't like this guy because he's not from the UFC. He's coming from the outside of the UFC. He's now won 4 fights in a row, and he's just a problem. He's a problem to deal with. Now, I know some of you guys saw that shit, and I know Lucky Luch said, this was a terrible bet to make. I can't believe I did this. He's chasing, and he's writing all this stuff, and I'm just like, bro, hang in there, bro. We knew this was going to happen. I knew what I was saying. I knew who I was believing in, and it's just one of those situations where you just got to trust your assessment and your evaluation and hope the results hold up. So, speaking of results, you like the segues, guys? I do these seamlessly, one take. That's just how it goes. Oh, shout out to ESPN and the results. Let's start with the bottom. First and foremost, 4-8 overall, 33%. Probably the worst card we've had all year. It is in money lines, the worst card all year. We've had 5-8 back with Vittorio Delize card, but 4-8, really rough. I've never seen this many underdogs win in my life. And then when I went and picked underdogs, remember, there's still 2 more underdogs that won. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My bad. 5, 6, 7 underdogs won on this card. It's fucking bananas. It's really hard. And then last week, a bunch of underdogs as well. So that's pretty tough. It's a hard one to swallow, bro. Pause. Couple things we got right over here. Rico knows money line rankings. You see it right here. Went 50-50 on this. I believed in 2 of these guys, or 2 of them were all the locks, but they're not all in the same order. I probably should have moved Peter Yan up. That's on me. I had too much respect. The difference between these 2 is I have a lot more respect for Marcus McGee than I do Muslim Salakov. That's why that is the way it is, just so you're aware. Obviously, didn't get this right. I'm talking about prop bets right now. Missed all these props, but breaking even here, this is why it turns yellow. Breaking even decision, no bet means if it goes to decision, get your money back. That's cool. Missed the lock, missed, and then smack, looking good. Stay away from EVs all day. Just put them there so you're aware of them. And then missed those 3. When you look now, we're down to 72%. Yeah, guys, so look, man, 2-2 on locks. Yeah, 2-2 on locks, that ruined it. It brought it down 1%. You got to play the law of averages and hang in there. You do. Parlays will ruin your life. Parlays will ruin your life. 36%. I'm not hiding it. That's what it is. Props. Parlay lock should hit. Should hit. And then you'll ruin your life if you're chasing purples. Wish I was better, but that's the reality of the situation right now, MVPs. Shout out to you guys. We are getting ready for futures bets. I have been working on the talent chart. I won't show it to you in this video, but please know I'm working on it. We will get to you guys shortly. Shout out to all the college football fans and all the MVPs. Hey, we dust off, we try again. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for supporting the channel, believing in me. I hope you had fun watching the fights on the Discord server, on the stage with me, providing commentary. We were screaming out something. I want you to know, in a couple of these, we just knew we were in a bad shape. Especially the first fight. Immediately started screaming out, "Go Buday!" Then somebody said it's locked. I'm like, oh shit. Right? But you didn't hear me scream out, "Take Bobby," because I believed in Reinier, even after it looked so terrible in the first round. Sometimes, you got to get him where you fit in. Once again, thank you guys. Have a blessed day. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.